Hi folks. So I got some interesting feedback on my last video. One commenter suggested that I should talk about economics and what do I think about liberals. Actually, that was my original intent. That is to say, my primary focus when I started posting these videos. So today, I'd like to get back to the politically charged stuff. And I'll start with some news this week out of New Jersey. Yesterday was a victory for bipartisanship. It was a victory for bipartisanship because the New Jersey state legislature, both houses of which are controlled by Democrats, passed an historic reform bill designed to overhaul the pension and health care benefit systems for state workers. Governor Chris Christie, a Republican, had been pushing for this legislation since he took office, and now he has won a major victory as the Senate, the state Senate, where, again, Democrats are in the majority, passed the bill on Thursday, and then the state assembly promptly followed suit. This was met with some angry protests by a bunch of union types, I guess, in Trenton who are unhappy with the legislation. But it is very encouraging because New Jersey really needed this. And I want to talk today about someone who was not too happy about this victory for bipartisanship, and that is Ed Shultz. If you don't know who Ed Shultz is, then first of all, consider yourself lucky. Second of all, he's one of those anchors on MSNBC who's always shouting and complaining and calling people names and stuff. He opened his show on Thursday evening with a rant about the legislation in New Jersey. Let's take a look.
The new law could cost middle-class public employees up to $6,000 a year. Middle-classers getting hit with that kind of a bill? That's a real hit for many families. But it's pocket change for a guy who takes the state helicopter to watch his kid play baseball.
What was that squeaking sound? Anyway, did you notice how angry Shultz was, or appeared to be, about these pension reforms? $6,000, oh my gosh. But he talked about, I think his exact words were, middle-classers getting hit with that kind of a bill. Now he's talking about the state employees. But what about middle-class taxpayers? What about the people who are actually paying for these benefits? I didn't hear him mention anything about that. Isn't that typical of people on the left? You know, no regard for how much the current system is costing the taxpayers, only trying to, you know, gin up, I guess, public opposition to reform by talking about, you know, how much it's going to hurt middle-class families, by which he's talking about the government employees. One person who is talking about the cost of the taxpayers, besides Governor Chris Christie, is State Senate President Stephen Sweeney, a Democrat, who said, "These reforms are needed now. We have a pension system that is in crisis and teetering on the brink of collapse. The taxpayers are tapped out, and we can't go down that road anymore." And I think he's exactly right. Now, I remember Christie saying in an interview last year that the state pension fund alone is underfunded to the tune of $46 billion. And according to Bloomberg, let's see here, that deficit has increased 18% just in the last year to $53.9 billion. So it'll be $53.9 billion in the red as of June 30th. Now, when I talk about the cost of the state of New Jersey, by which I mean the taxpayer, in fairness, sometimes the state doesn't make the contributions it's supposed to, and that accounts for a lot of the deficit. In fact, it skipped a $3 billion payment last year. But even after this legislation is passed, even after it becomes law, the government will make a $759 million contribution to the plan, and that's just for this year. So that is, you know, a pretty heavy tab, and when you combine it with the unfunded liabilities in the healthcare system for New Jersey, then it's, let's see here, where is that article? According to the New York Post, the total deficit comes to $110 billion. Now, as for the helicopter, you know, I think that's frankly a sore point for Shultz because, well, let's just say most choppers aren't equipped to handle his rather sizable carriage. He's fat, is what I'm saying. But then he had on Hetty Rosenstein, who is the state director for something called the Communications Workers of America. And he lobbed some softballs at her, trying to make these union thugs look sympathetic. They're not all thugs, of course. I'm talking about the people protesting in the streets. They're the thugs. But the state government employees, listen to this. I'll play the whole question and answer so that you can see what she says. But listen to why she says this is such a horrible bill.
Hetty, tell us, what does this bill do to someone making $25,000 a year? I mean, we said it was just over $1,000 in expenses. Someone at $65,000, it's $6,000. You want to talk about disposable income going right out the door? I don't know how the hell the economy is going to recover in the state of New Jersey if this is the way it's going to be. But tell us, what does this really mean to the workers?
Well, it means a couple of things. First of all, everyone will pay 2% more paid towards their pension. We already pay 5.5% of pay towards our pension. That equals about 60% of the cost of the pension. This will add 2% more, so we'll be paying 75% of the.
I don't know what that noise is. It's like a penguin or something. Anyway, did you hear that? These people are up in arms because, inter alia, they're going to have to pay 2% more of their salary towards their pension. So she said it's going to go from 5% to 7%. I mean, what? Boo-hoo-hoo. That's what these people are upset about? Now, then she talks about health care costs. Listen to what she says about that.
We have many retirees who've retired on pensions of $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. You're 65 years old. You're going to get that same $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 till you're 95. So this is a terrible bill. It has a horrible impact on middle-class families, and there is no reason for it. The fact of the matter is 5 unions came forward with a plan to save hundreds of millions of dollars through collective bargaining and through cost containment, and they had no interest in that plan. They really just wanted to unionize. They just wanted to eliminate our collective bargaining rights, and they wanted to hurt us.
Okay, a couple of things. I couldn't find anything about this supposed alternative that the unions in New Jersey put forward as a way to save the state all this money that she was talking about, and I looked pretty hard for it. The only thing I could find was a bill proposed by the Democratic leader in the state assembly, Joseph Cryan, but the only article I could find about that didn't give any details on it. So either she's just lying, or these people did a pretty terrible job of publicizing this supposed alternative reform bill that they proposed. But frankly, I don't care which it is. Second, as for these healthcare costs, I found an interesting article online on the Huffington Post, of all places, and this says here, that the average New Jersey public worker earning $60,000 now contributes $900, just $900 towards health care, or 1.5% of their salary. So just 1.5% of their salary goes toward health care, regardless of their plan. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, typically employer-provided health plans vary in cost based on whether it's just coverage for a single person or a family plan. Now, under the new system, it says that same worker could pay 3.4% of their salary a year for single coverage and 5.4% of their salary for a family plan. Now, a survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation last year found that workers with employer-sponsored health plans, and I guess this is for all workers, on average paid 19% of the premium for single coverage and 30% for family coverage. But those in state and local government paid on average 9% of the premium for single coverage and 25% for a family plan. So, these people have such a sweet deal as it is, and, well, let me know what you think. Comment below, post a video reply, check out my website. I'll have some articles about stuff that really didn't lend itself to video, and until next time, don't mess with the right-wing genius.